Alright, well, like Einstein, I've done my own um, thought experiments, and what I did was I put myself in Noah's shoes. And when I went and I seen the things that I saw, um, well, what the hell? Why don't I just tell you? Just, you won't see my face, but you hear me, okay? Good. Alright. Alright, so everybody wonders where exactly the moon came from. Another thing is this volcanic thing that's going on. And when I did my thought experiment, what I did was I put my feet and my eyes and my mind in that position. So I'm standing on the bow and I'm looking over, and you can see, oddly, first you see the sky, it's dark. Then you see the water with the reflection of those, but yet under the ocean, the sky continues as it normally does, but behind it, under the ocean, you can see it. I don't know how to explain it, but that's what I'm seeing. I'm like on the bow, and I'm looking, and I'm looking all the way around, except to the right where it seems to be more farther away. The light, I don't know, the light's adjusted somehow. So it's as if the astral plane I've been hearing about is actually where the track is that the two suns are on, okay? Because my belief is that what I saw might be accurate. I don't know if it was my imagination. I want to go with it because it just seems so much more plausible. So if you have 4 openings at 4 cardinal spots, I guess what they're called, north, south, east, west, whatever, okay? Now imagine them being able to open and close tunnels, right? So you flush it in, the water comes up at an angle and scoops along the roof, the dome. So it comes up along the dome and it drops from the center because gravity takes over. So not only was it coming from the deep, but it was also coming from the sky in that way. That would explain why. Anyway, so when the water hit the first sun prior to the second sun, so when that first sun died, that became the charred remains that we see, because when the water hit, it didn't get completely put out like people think. What happened was, like chicken, you ever see chicken when the outside of the chicken's crisp, but yet the inside's still pink? You ever see that? That's what happened with the sun. That's where you get your sand, you get your salt, you get all that stuff. That's why they meet in certain places, salt. It's almost like they gather, like gravity, I don't know, salt gathers to salt, birds flock with birds. It's because it was part of that, you know. I wouldn't put it past the fact that there might be more so-called volcanic spots where salt meets, because I believe that was some of the things that was either just the end result after it runs dry, you know. But anyways, if you look at it, it's a giant piece of coal now, you know. It might be just the outside the lava that we believe that we're seeing seems to react with the sun and moon changes anyway. So what I'm saying is that when it got wet and put out that first sun, and Noah started as the next sun, and when the moon and the sun met for the first time, the sun pushed down, but the the sun has stronger magnetism, right? So it's tighter. But the moon died out, so the magnetism gets waved out. So then, when it's red and it's dying, it rides a crest, and it looks like the water, all right, at a certain point, looks like a pyramid leading up to it. Why it's holding the water, because it's cooling so fast, even though it's red and all that, it's cooling so fast that it's making the water turn into ice. So it's kind of dragging an ice cap, like a wave cap, under it, and that's why it looks like a crescent moon under it too. And it goes around and around and around and around until finally it just lets loose, and it stays on the astral plane right along with the sun. I even seen the sun spin in the water in front of Noah, and I didn't know anything. I mean, every time I think of it, I say to myself, where's all the evidence? And if you look at coal, if you look at all that, those deposits, where did they really come from? People say dead bodies, people say this. I say, okay, but what scorched it? What heated it? What friction? And I think it was the fact that parts of the sun, the first sun, are still here in the ground. And when things happen, if they put certain things in the air, magnetic wise or whatever, it can do that. Plus, don't forget that it's something that's heated. And even though the shell's there, it's still baking at that really crazy temperature. So anything laying on top of it, corpse-wise, meaning plant life, all that stuff, will turn into gases and push the ground up. Once that happens and that little bit of air goes out, it will pull some of that back out, cooling it rapidly, and then turning it into ash, and then keeping the rest under, just like chicken that gets seared on the outside. And it's weird because where I see the sun, and it's weird, I see the sun being put down. I don't know how to explain it, but when I was looking into it, I was like, if my thing was right, there would be a place dedicated to the sun that would have some kind of marker to say where it started. And then son of a gun, what was it? I don't know, I might be wrong, but I think it's Yucatan Peninsula or some shit like that. I don't know, maybe I'm wrong. Anyways, they call it a crater. That's where the new son, Noah, was placed when it was his time. And it pushed everything down, and if you look, I bet you can see ridges underneath the water that leave that particular spot, as if it was pressed down by a new type of gravity. I don't know, but the scariest part of all that was riding the waves and the sky showing. You can see the sky through the waves is the scariest thing that I can tell you. When this thing comes around, one's pushing down, one's got like a crescent. I don't know, it's weird. It's like the wave shapes up as a pyramid underneath the dying sun, which is turning into today's moon. I was like, wait a fucking minute. Then, oh my god, then hold on. Then after I'm getting all this and I'm doing my own mind experiment, 3 weeks later, I think it was. I want to say 3 weeks. I could be wrong. That's why I do this, because in case I'm wrong, I can always go back and tell you guys I'm wrong. But I want to say about 3 weeks. And then all of a sudden they're talking about not a blood moon, but actually hematite, which is another word for blood, which was on the moon. And I'm thinking to myself, I remember in my thought experiment, Noah bouncing along, I mean, not close to it, it was far away, but it's so huge that it was riding, like as the moon went up and down, the waves that left the moon going up and down a little bit in the waters hit underneath the, what do you call it? And then I also, when you're up that close to the ceiling, you also realize that the Milky Way is where the fallen angels came down. Yeah, ain't that a weird one? That part was crazy. Like, here's the Milky Way, and Noah looking out knows You know, he knows that Milky Way, that gap, that blackness is where those fallen angels came from. Because remember, they're all morning stars, I thought, right? And besides that, it's all about angels and nothing but messengers. But anyway, let me get back. So, if you want to kill, okay, the round ball theory, it's simple, and I'll tell you how to do it. Are you ready? They claim time travel exists. Okay. They say you go through space and time. So if you're at a particular time, that time you stay there. Okay. So if you're going like this, where's my finger? Oh, okay. So if you're going like this, right, through, but you stop here in time, right, then this is going to keep going, and Earth won't be here. It'll be gone. Because you keep saying we're moving in space, spinning, doing that. So that means every 9 seconds, or by your math, just do the math, at any 9 seconds, give or take, you're in a different spot in space. Now, if you stop time in, let's say, 1987, at a particular time, 9 seconds later, Earth's not going to be there. So, how does it work? It has to be a fixed place. God, I wish I was intelligent. Anyway, that's. I'll try to get some pictures up. Maybe it'll make more sense with the pictures, but yeah, this bitch is flat as fuck.